Evening, Guelph. My name is Mark Peralivas, and that rhymes with for all of us. And I'm the People's Party candidate for the Guelph region for the October 21st federal election. I hope you vote for me. Tonight, I'm going to give you a couple of updates because updates are needed daily, I think, and I'm going to answer some questions from a debate that I wasn't invited to yesterday. Sometimes these things happen, and, well, at least I can answer these questions. So after the update, I'll go right to the questions. First, signs. Signs have been ordered, as I said yesterday. I thought I would have the confirmation of them shipping today. I did not get that email, but I called them and they said, yeah, you're definitely on track to have them by the end of the week for sure. So hopefully by the end of the week, if not that, by the early next week. Number two, come on out to our campaign kickoff event this Saturday. Please bring a non-perishable food item. We're making a donation to the Guelph Food Bank, and it would be appreciated. Help us celebrate the end of summer with some popsicles and some political conversation because, well, that's what this is about, right? So come on out if you've got some questions. Bring a friend if they've got some questions, and just stop by to say hi. It would be lovely to see you. The last one is invitations to debate. I've received a bunch of new invitations from people, and I'm excited to participate in the debates that are happening around town. As well, I've been invited to the bike ride, and I'm excited by all of those things. All of those things are great things, and I think that's positive for our democracy, positive for our local democracy, positive for the wider democracy across Canada. So thank you to everyone who has reached out and invited me. I appreciate being included. I think it's important, and I think it's important for the people of Guelph to know what their options are, and I'm one of them. All right, and into the debate questions that I missed yesterday. So if you're a Guelph Home Builders Association person, this part's for you. And if you're just interested in hearing the answers to these questions, well, stick around. Here we go. The first question from the Guelph Home Builders Association is, do you and your party support initiatives such as reintroducing a 30-year mortgage term and adjusting the required 2% interest rate stress test to ensure that home ownership is accessible, available, and affordable to Canadians? Okay, for me, I think that home ownership is really, really important. I purchased my first home when I was 19. I had help from my parents, but I had enough money and it was doable, and the house cost $118,000. Wild, right? Especially in this context. So I think that it's really, really important. All of that said, I don't think reintroducing a 30-year mortgage is the right thing to do. I don't think it's the right move. What I want to see happen is I want to see our wages increase. I want to see us grow into this economy that we've got running currently, because the economy is continuing to grow and to churn and to do what an economy does. But there are a lot of people in entry-level jobs who can't afford an apartment, who can't afford to even save to buy a house. And that's where I want to fix this problem. I think that government interventions are not necessarily, and changing the term of the deal from 25-year mortgage to a 30-year mortgage helps a very small percentage of people. But if we actually tackle the problem, which is inventory, there are a lot of people coming in and not enough inventory to keep up with the amount of people coming in. And that's across all streams. Currently, we have illegal, we've got legal, we've got temporary foreign workers, we've got students, we've got all sorts of people coming in, and that puts pressure on the rental market. And the rental market having pressure increases the rent, and the increasing rent has people looking at their rent in an apartment and saying, well, I could probably buy a house for this monthly rental, or for this monthly payment. And so they move to a purchase property. And so the short answer is no, I don't support a 30-year mortgage. And the stress test, I think, is a benefit because we don't want to get into a situation where we are over-leveraged like the United States was in 2008. And not to say that I'm against tweaking a stress test. I think that it needs to be in line with what's affordable to the people who are going to actually be looking for houses and looking for apartments in that band, right? So I think the affordability and the stress test needs to be geared properly. So I'm in favor of tweaking it. I'm not in favor of repealing the stress test, and I'm not in favor of a 30-year mortgage. I'm in favor of making things more affordable through increased wages and stopping the inflationary increases and the necessary rent increases due to increased population. I think that's the end of my answer for number one. Number two, do you and your party support a national building code that will balance housing affordability with climate change adaptations by introducing energy efficiency initiatives only once the research and development has been completed to ensure that any new national building code requirements can be met in an affordable manner. So I want to boil this down. The question is, are you going to make sure that any new building codes that deal with environmental restrictions or environmental goals are affordable and make sense and are borne out to make sense before they're implemented? And yes, emphatically, the People's Party is a pro-business party. I absolutely want to make things affordable, and I don't want to be using half-baked science or anything to that effect to institute building codes that will make things more expensive and reduce emissions in a minimal or not effective way, right? Like that's the short answer. I could probably get into it a lot longer, but the fundamental point is I want it to be efficient and affordable for you to build houses in inventory for people to buy. I don't want unnecessary bureaucracy and regulation to stymie the potential for growth. All of that said, I don't want bad houses built. So we do have standards. We need standards, and that's important. And environmental standards too. Those are important, but not needlessly restrictive or needlessly expensive environmental restrictions, because that doesn't help anybody. It makes things more expensive for the builders and more expensive then for consumers, because if it's more expensive for the builder, in order for them to make money, they have to increase to get their profit, right? That's why. So I hope that's a good answer for number 2. Number 3, do you and your party support a permanent renovation tax credit which will improve the energy efficiency of existing homes while also have the benefit of reducing the underground cash economy and protecting Canadian consumers? Okay, I'm not sure, honestly, how this goes together. The party support permanent renovation tax credit and how that reduces the underground cash economy. I'm not sure how those two connect. So, do I support a permanent renovation tax credit? No. I don't believe in boutique tax credits. I believe in repealing the carbon tax. I believe in making the business environment that you are working in much more friendly to business, rather than making you meet certain boutique goals to change your behavior. I would much rather have a fair business environment than boutique credits to make sure you're doing X, Y, and Z. And the underground, so with regards to the permanent renovation tax credit, no. With regards to the underground cash, that's a really big problem, and it has a lot of implications across our economy. I don't like the idea of underground cash. I don't like the idea of a whole second economy running kind of shadow to our current economy, to the legit tax-paying economy. I don't like that. I think that that's a really, really, really problematic issue, and one that should be addressed by our federal government. And that bleeds into the money laundering, the fentanyl crisis that is happening in Vancouver and across Canada. And the fentanyl and the money laundering bleeds into the real estate costs that are housing the laundered money, right? If you walk into a bank in Vancouver with $8 million in a duffel bag, and this happens, and you want to buy a $9 million condo, and you ask the lawyer or the real estate agent or the bank person for a loan or the legal papers or the actual access to the property, what the government is trying to do is make that layer, the layer of the services, so the real estate agent and the lawyer, they want to make those people the police of this money laundering. And what I'm saying is, this money laundering, the Vancouver method, it's called the Vancouver method for a reason, look it up, is part of the reason we're seeing these unaffordable housing costs. These unaffordable, and I mean, when you look at that, it could be beneficial because the prices of the property that you're selling is going up, but also so is the price of labor, so is the price of materials, so is the price of everything else with the carbon tax and inflation and all of the other stuff. So it's a double-edged sword. So with the underground cash economy, I don't like it. With the money laundering, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, it has blown my mind since 2017 that our current government has done nothing to quell it, except saying it's the real estate agent and the lawyer's fault. I don't think so. And the banker's fault. I don't think so. I think that if you can change the rules for SNC Lavalin in your budget in a big omnibus bill, you could probably do something to stymie the money laundering and the Vancouver method from being run over and over again all across our country. I got into some other things there. I apologize. But it's all connected, and our government should be talking about these things, and I don't understand why they're not. It's frustrating as a citizen, and that's why I'm doing this. Because if I can talk about this in my home office, why can't they in Parliament where it matters? Thanks for watching today, everybody. Home Builders Association, I hope that was helpful. And everybody else, well, that's what I would say to the Home Builders Association. So there you go. I will try and do this for every debate I'm in part of. I will try and bring my iPhone or I don't have an iPhone, this is an Android, but another phone or something to that effect to record it because it'll normalize the sound better than any other setup I've seen. So I'm going to try and do that for debates. If that's interesting to you, I think it would be interesting to me if I was making the choice this election cycle. It would be interesting to me to have access to that. So I will do my best to deliver that to you. Thank you for watching, everybody. Check out the People's Party of Canada, Guelph at ppcguelph.ca. Check out the People's Party of Canada.ca and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Night.